This is a friendship that'll never ever end. If you're feeling lonely today, come along and throw your cares away.
Hi kids! Hey, are you ready to do Systems of Linear Inequalities? Awesome! So before we begin, we have a few materials that we need to have. The first is your notebook. Make sure you have your notes out. If you don't have them printed, use a notebook. A pen or pencil, depending on what you like. And other colors, because we will need more than one today. And last but not least, your thinking caps. Let's get started. Okay, so for 3.03 Systems of Linear Inequalities, the objectives are graph a system of linear inequalities, test solution points for the system, and create a system of inequalities from a graph. These 3 points are what you should know how to do by the end of this lesson. Now students, before we dive in, we have to review what we learned from our previous lessons. So we need to graph the following inequality. Please remember, put in slope-intercept form if you need to, draw the boundary line, pick the test point, and shade the graph to show the solution set. Our inequality is y is greater than x plus 2. Does this need to be in slope-intercept form, or do we need to convert it? That's right, it's already in slope-intercept form, so we can move on to our next step. Our next step is to find our y-intercept. What is the y-intercept? That's right, 2. How is that represented on our coordinate plane? 0, 2, exactly. The x is always 0, and that y is where it is on the slope-intercept form. The next thing we need to find is our slope. In slope-intercept form, you will find the slope next to the x. But there's no number. Well, what does that mean? That's right, there's an invisible 1 there. So what is the slope? That's right, rise is 1 and run is 1. Isn't this fun? Next on our list, we need to find our boundary line. We can find the boundary line by looking at the symbol in our slope-intercept form. You see that it is just greater than. That means what? Dotted or solid? That's right, it is dotted. Now some of you might say dashed, but guess what? That's the same thing. So either one will work. But in this case, we're going to go with dotted. And finally, what we need to look for now is our test point. So we always use what test point? That's right, 0, 0, or the origin, because it's the best multiplication to do using our slope-intercept form. Let's see how we do. All right, kids, one other fun part is, say it loud and proud, is 0 greater than 2? No, which means that that is not a solution to the inequality, and everything below the dotted line gets filled in. Great job! Does your finished product look like this? Awesome! Let's move on. Oh no! It's the warning alarm! Oh no! Guys, it's okay! Hold on! Just listen for a second. Everything that we just did, we just have to do it twice. Let's look at this chart with 2 linear inequalities. Look, everyone, we just have to do everything twice. See, everybody? It's easy peasy. So if we just follow the steps from one inequality and do it for two inequalities, we just have to graph everything twice. And then the overlap, where the two shaded areas are together, that is actually the solution to both inequalities. See? Easy as pie. So kids, what we need to do now is take the first inequality, which is going to be on the top, and put it on one side of the page. And then do what we do best. Find our y-intercept, slope, boundary line, and test point, and put everything on our coordinate plane, and then shade the area that we need to. And now this is where the other colors come in. I'm so excited. We get to use another color besides pen or pencil. Here we do our second inequality. That's going to be the one on the bottom. And then you do the same thing we just did. Y-intercept, slope, boundary line, test point, and then shade if the test point is or is not a solution. And then that final thing that we do is where your two colors overlap. That area that's shaded is the solutions to both inequalities. Isn't that great? All right, now I want you to try this example on the board, and I'll give you a few minutes to do that. Is everybody back? Do we have everybody? All right, now let's see. Does yours look like mine? Great! That's wonderful. Now, if yours doesn't, remember, you've got a friend in all of your teachers. Please reach out. Email, call, text, anything you... Now notice on the coordinate plane, we did it twice. We graphed both inequalities. We shaded them both in, and as you can see, the two colors that overlap are the set of points that are a solution to both inequalities. Isn't that amazing? Now, to go one step further, if you want to test a point anywhere in the double shaded area, you just have to plug them in and do as we normally would with plugging in x and y in both inequalities to prove that we did it correct. And wowie zowie, kids! Look what we get to do next! A perfect segue to our next skill. We need to now find the solutions. Now all we have to do here is the points that we have must work for all of the inequalities. And if neither of them work, or even just one of them doesn't work, then we don't have to do any more, and we can say that it is not a solution. Let's check it out. Come on. No, guys, it's okay. Take a look. Please, calm down. Oh, the warning symbol. No. Guys, once again, it's okay. Let's just breathe for a minute. Just take a moment. Now, it's not a lot of work. It's the same work we've done. It's just we got to do it 2 times. Same as our last skill. See, now in this case, we have to plug in the ordered pair into our first inequality. Then solve using order of operations like we always do. If we determine that it is not true or it's false, guess what? You're done, and it's not a solution because you have to have both as the solution. Not one, but both. And then if it's true, you just do the second one. And if that's not true, it's not a solution. Okay, kids, now it's your turn. Try it out. Remember, pause the video, use your paper and pencil and your calculator to do the work on the screen to see if both ordered pairs is a solution for the inequalities. Fred the Zombie, do you want to talk about this solution? Oh, that's a great idea. All right, guys, Fred wants to talk to you about this. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, that's very good. All right, thank you, Fred. That was so great. Now, if you didn't know what he said, he just asked, does that work look like yours? Great. That's it, kids. We did it. Oh, I'm so proud of you guys. Now, don't forget, the notes you took while watching this video, you can use on your homework. Now, remember, don't do the quiz yet until you get a 7 out of 10 on your homework. And guess what? If you don't, you can try it again. And you've got the recordings, you've got the video, and you've got your notes all there to help you. And you've got, your teachers too. And of course, don't forget your learning coaches. They can help you as well. Okay, so until next time, guys. Bye! Bye! We'll see you later. Bye!